The Carey Center for the Advancement of Philanthropy and Nonprofit Studies is honored to be located in the historic Halliday Carey Pick House. This gift provides a perfect example of giving back to affect communities in a positive way. Through the Family's Gift, Auburn University is able to teach students and encourage others to practice philanthropy and to follow the generous path of those who lived here in the past. Welcome to the Halliday Carey Pick House.
I want to begin by saying that a member of the Carey family has lived in this house for over 100 years until Miss Alice passed away in 2006. At this point, we have this wonderful house in grand shape because it has been constantly maintained. And so what would be our next step with this house? Well, I didn't have any children in town, and my husband and I were not going to move here. And so I went to each of the children individually and I said, we have Granny's house. We want to do something worthwhile with it. We do not want it to deteriorate or to stand empty. And so what do you think about talking to the College of Veterinary Medicine and seeing if they would be interested in our gift in the house to them? And the College of Veterinary Medicine, because of Dr. Carey's connection, of course, and his study is still in the house intact. And the children said, we're for whatever you want to do, Mom. We want to do something wonderful with the house. Well, at the time, I approached the real estate company of Auburn University and some of the people that I knew over there, and it turned out that, and we did approach the College of Veterinary Medicine, but they were busy building the college, the teaching hospital, the small animal teaching hospital at the college. And they really had no, I'm not saying they had no interest, they just could not take on another project at that time. Well, so I was at a loss as to what to do next. But the College of Human Sciences, Dean June Hinton, got word of the fact that I was interested in gifting this house to Auburn University, just because Auburn University had meant so much to our family all these years. And so June did not hesitate. She knew what she could do with this house, and she knew exactly how to go about getting it. Well, I had luncheon after luncheon with the board, the real estate board, and Miss Susie Gouge, and just different people who were decision makers. And we had already had a dinner for Dr. Gouge when he first came here. And so he knew the house rather a little bit. Well, anyway, this went on for, believe it or not, 2.5 years. It takes a long time to gift something to a public entity like Auburn University. And they had to send their people over here to inspect it, to see in what shape it was. They were very impressed about the way the house had been maintained. The heat still worked, the air conditioning was in good shape. And so we were very proud of that. I had done a lot of work after Miss Alice died, not while she was alive, because I didn't want to upset her. I didn't want her to worry. And so after she died, though, we did put another roof up on the top of the third floor, a hot tar 7-ply roof. We did a lot of things. And so when the university came over to inspect, when facilities came over, they were very impressed. And that helped us with the giving. There was never a doubt that this was what we wanted to do with the house and the land. It was just getting it done. It was more difficult than I ever thought it would be. Sure enough, on October the 14th, there was a dedication here put on by the president's office, and it was gorgeous. We had white chairs set up out there and a podium. Dr. Gouge came and introduced the project. My family flew in from wherever, and June Hinton, as Dean of the College of Human Sciences, spoke brilliantly, and so did several of the trustees. It was a wonderful occasion, right out in the front yard, and the heavens were very gracious to us. It was a beautiful day. There were flowers in every room. We had a little buffet set up out in the backyard with the big white tablecloths and the white chairs. It was really a glorious event, and it made all of us feel so good about this decision we had made, because people really came to see, and then we toured the house. The College of Human Sciences had a plan for the house long before they received it, and so they were quick to move right in and take over, and they, of course, sent Sid James Nakashvan over here. Could not have been a better director for this house, because she has a feel for preservation, and we knew that the house would be in good hands.
When I think about the Carey Center and its impact on generations to come, yes, Miss Fran and her family made an incredible contribution by donating the national headquarters for the Carey Center, the Halliday Carey Pick House.
The house is a Greek Revival raised cottage, and has original pine, wide pine floors, and original windows, hand-blown glass windows, high ceilings. It is still the very same house it was when it was built. There have been interior renovations just for the convenience, such as adding bathrooms and dressing rooms and things like that. But the original footprint of the house never changed. The houses of that era were formed with a central hall for ventilation. The staircase from the first to the second floor is a 360-degree turn. It is carved of solid mahogany. It was carved and built by an architect who was going through the country on his way to New Orleans, and he saw the house under construction, and he said, I have an idea I would like to try in this house. And so they said, well, come on. And so that staircase that makes a complete 360-degree turn is all original, and it is really the centerpiece of this house. No central post. It rests on its own footing, and it does not lean against a wall. So that makes it very unique, and maybe the only one in America. And engineers and architects that have been in this house say it cannot be duplicated, that it was built by hand with no equipment, no electricity, of course, no anything except the talent of that one man who just happened to be going through. So it was a strategic moment that he came here just as they were going to build a staircase from the ground floor to the second floor. So we are very proud of that staircase, and we take very good care of it. One of the unique features of this house is the fact that many of the rooms are still in the original shape and with the same original furnishings that were here when Dr. Carey was here. Right now, we are in his study, and that was a very special place because he was a very studious and outstanding man in so many fields, but no one got in his study except him, and occasionally my husband could sneak in. I think he was a favorite. But the bookcases with the books, the furnishings are all the same, just about the same as they were when Dr. Carey was here. The windows and the shutters and the treatments in this room are very much the same, and you can feel at home here as if he were still sitting in that chair speaking to you. Then we come out into the hall. Just as on the second floor, the hall goes all the way through the house. And this one ends up in a sun porch, which was a screened porch, which was a porte cochere where the carriages left off their passengers. So all of this is exactly the same footprint that was here when Dr. Carey was here. Then we go across the hall, and here we have the kitchen, which is just marvelous. At one time, it did have a well in it, so they didn't have to go outside and draw water. And of course, they didn't do the heavy cooking in here, in the kitchen, but it was a warming kitchen. And it has a fireplace, and that is the fireplace that we used all these years. None of the other 6 were ever opened in my lifetime here in the house. But the kitchen fireplace, as you see, still has all of the soot of years around it. The bricks have never been polished up. But it was modernized, and marble countertops were put in, and the cabinets were not changed. They're the original cabinets. They were just cleaned and refinished. So they are of the period. This house was not a fancy period with a lot of heavy molding. This was it was of the period, very modest trim, and no fancy moldings and things. And so when you see the cabinets in the kitchen, they look original, and they are original. And then you are in the dining room, which had a table that seated 12 in its heyday. But the dining room has a small crystal chandelier, and even though it is an office at this time, you can still see that it was the dining room. From this central hall, where we have been downstairs looking at these rooms, we will go up the curving stairway, the 360-degree turn. And then you're in the upstairs hall that goes from the big double front doors all the way through the house to the back of the house. There were twin parlors for entertaining, and they were twins. They were exactly the same size. They had the same chandeliers. They had the same big open doorways, and the big high windows with the hand-blown glass. That was just of the period, of course. And in the south parlor, over the mantelpiece, there is a portrait that's of particular interest because it is of Miss Alice Carey and painted by her mother, Miss Emma Carey, who was also an artist. So it has come right down the line. And of course, many of the furnishings in that room are original, and beautiful crystal chandeliers from Hungary, and they were added because, of course, they had the chandeliers with candles in the old days. But there was plenty of space to have a lot of people in here. So you go on down behind the 2 parlors, and there are 2 bedrooms that are twins in size. The one on the right was a guest room and had twin beds with testers and things, and a beautiful dressing room, bathroom area that was not added onto the house but was cut off of the bedroom. And the bedrooms are still huge. Very high ceilings and fireplaces. And then across the hall is Dr. Miss Carey's bedroom. And that is where Miss Alice's wedding gown is on a mannequin. And then you will see